Okay, so you may be asking a pretty logical question at this point, which is, where do I start? And if I have a set amount of advertising budget, let's say I have $1,000 a month to spend, where do I go first that maximizes my ROI? Well, if you're an e-commerce store, and especially if you have a larger catalog, I'd say more than, let's say, 25 products, I'm gonna recommend that you go to Google Shopping first, or product listing ads, as they're called. So we're gonna go to my screen here. So when I search anything in Google for product related stuff, so here I search for Nike shoes, you're gonna see over here on the right side, these are the product listing ads. You can see right here where it says ads. These are just all of the, this used to be called Google Shopping. Now it's called Performance Max, and I'll walk you through it. But you can also go to the shopping tab and you can find all kinds of results based on these Nike shoes. So I can do the same for lighting fixtures. We'll search that word, lighting fixtures in Google Shopping. And so I've got all kinds of different options here from places that I recognize: Amazon, Wayfair, Home Depot's on here. And so the reason why this is the most impactful form of advertising is this is cost per click, just like everything else. But what this has going for it is me, the searcher, I have to be okay with what I see before you, the advertiser, gets charged. So what I mean by that is the only time a click is paid for is once somebody clicks this thing and then clicks this ad here. So once they actually make it through to the landing page. So I have to, as the guy searching around here, I'm seeing all these different options. I can see the picture, so I can see what the lighting fixture is, and then I can see the price and the delivery or shipping cost, see some reviews, and I kind of go through all of these things before I even click through to your website. So what this does for you as the advertiser is I am only gonna get really or somewhat interested traffic because they already see what the product looks like. They already see what the price is for the product. So this varies from keyword search because I'm just selling them on an ad, right? And I'm saying this is the best or highest quality or whatever my hook is. And I'm trying to hook people in that may be interested. These people, they already have a clear view of what the price is, what your brand name is, what the product looks like. So Google Shopping ads are the most useful for an e-commerce brand if your goal is to maximize your ROI. Now, the downside is depending on the size of your catalog, your ability to spend your whole budget can come up short. So if you need, let's say you needed to spend $10,000 a month and you had 20 products in your catalog, that's just not gonna happen. But you can meaningfully spend, and I've had clients before in the past that have had up to a 20-to-1 ROI in Google Shopping, which is for every $1 spent, $20 made. That's really, really good. It's really good. So it only cuts into, so your cost per acquisition in that point will only be 5% at a 20-to-1 ROI. So that's really, really good. So now you're probably saying, okay, Brad, that's great. How do I do that? So let's walk through that. Shopify, another reason why you've made a really good decision by picking Shopify is they make this very, very easy. So here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go into Shopify and you're going to install the Google app. And if you've already done that, you'll go up to the search bar and you'll click Google. And there's a list of things that you need to do here. We're not gonna go through all these steps. You need to add a valid payment method and refund policy and terms of service. Those need to be on your website. So to be compliant with Google Shopping, you need a refund policy and terms of service in your footer. Real pages that have a real outline. Because somebody will review your store when it comes live. So you'll actually have a manual review. You're gonna have to have contact information on your store. That doesn't have to be a phone number, but that can just be an email address. So in your footer, terms of service, refund policy, and an email address. You're good. You're going to hook up your Google Merchant Center account, which right now you're like, what is that? We'll walk you through what that is. You're gonna put in a phone number and they're just gonna send you a code. So again, no one's gonna call you. They're just gonna send you a quick code, a 6-digit code to verify you exist. You can add in a target country, add in some shipping settings. So in Google Shopping, to have those listings, they're gonna want some shipping and tax information. So you're gonna wanna set that up automatically. It's really easy, really, really easy. Finally, you'll agree to the terms of service, and from the Shopify side, you are done. Seriously, you are done. So it'll grab all of your products, and it'll grab your Google Merchant Center account, and it will connect them. So now you're saying, okay, what's Google Merchant Center? So let's go there real quick. So I'm gonna skip the part where we create a Google Merchant Center because all you have to do is click one button, and then you add an email address, and you will end up at this screen. So when you get to this screen, you're gonna have a bunch of empty numbers here, but you're gonna end up on a screen that is your headquarters for Google Shopping. Your first step, so if you did the last step already, is going to connect your Google Shopping account or your Google Merchant Center account to your Google Ads account. So you're gonna go up to the gear icon here, go to linked accounts. So gear icon, linked accounts, link account. So down here, and you're going to grab your Google Ads ID. So that's going to be up here, your Google Ads ID. So every Google Ads account has its own ID. So from Merchant Center, you're going to send a link request to your Google Ads account, and you'll see it there. Account needs to be confirmed in Google Ads, cancel request, so we're not going to do that. So in Google Ads, now, so I'll refresh this page. And so I just got an invite. Check my notifications. Got an invite that I have Merchant Center request link pending. So I'll view that request. So again, you're going to go to notifications here. View request. You're going to approve. Click approve. Now they're linked. Done. So you don't have to look at Merchant Center again for a while, unless something goes wrong. So now all you have left is just in Google Shopping. So we're going to create a Performance Max campaign. So Performance Max campaign is, again, how you are going to show up here. That's where your catalog is going to come from. So let me draw out what just happened. We started with Google. Well, we really started with Shopify. So we started with Shopify. And we installed the Google app in Shopify. So that is the first communication path. Your Shopify catalog, so these are where all your products are, connecting to Google. Now from here, that's going to connect to Google Merchant Center, which is then going to talk to Google Ads. So you're probably saying, well, that's kind of hard. This is pretty complicated. Maybe I should skip this. Here's why you shouldn't do that, because this is kind of hard and this is kind of complicated. Your competitors, the other people that might try to do this, they're not nearly as committed as you are. The reason I know you're committed is because you spent $500 for this course. So if you're going to spend $500 for this course, I guarantee you that you're going to be willing to spend an extra 3 or 4 hours to figure out how to do this, because this is the highest ROI form of advertising that you can do for a product catalog. So bear with me here. Again, you start with Shopify. You connect the Google app, which we just did, which connects to your Google Merchant Center, which we just did, which then connects to your Google Ads account. So that's where we are now. It's the last thing you're going to do. And I'm going to create another arrow here, which may confuse you, but this isn't really another step. But from here, we got to create the actual Performance Max campaign. And that's what the final customer is going to see. So let's create a Performance Max campaign here real quick. Go into this ad account, hit my plus sign here to create a new campaign. And I'm going to want to focus on sales. I'm going to want to focus on sales. Performance Max. So let me just highlight something here that you probably noticed that I skipped. So let me just go back real quick. New campaign, sales, Performance Max. It's going to ask for a conversion action. We're going to do that in just a second. I don't want to confuse you too much because there's a lot of things going on right here. So you created the Google ad where I talked about conversions a little bit. We're creating this Performance Max campaign where we're going to be talking about conversions a little bit. The last thing I'm going to do is show you how to actually connect your website to your Google Ads account to track conversions. But I don't want to add too many things at one time. So let's just talk about the campaign for now. So PMax, USA, we'll call it. Performance Max. Again, we're going to target just our country. That's where it's going to be the most useful. Before we get done creating this campaign, it wants us to install the tracking ourselves. So let's go ahead and do that now. Install tracking code yourself. Right now you're going to think, okay, now you want me to start adding tracking code. What on earth is going on right now? I really do. So what you're going to do is your Google Ads account has to be attached to your website in order for you to communicate what the user actually did once they clicked the ad. So Google's got 2 different silos right now. They know what the customer did when they clicked through to your website. And if you don't have any form of tracking, it's completely lost. And then you have the information on what happened on your website. And neither of these 2 things are going to be communicating with one another. So you have to add that link in, which is the conversion tracking. So notice what I did here. I'll take this back real quick. Campaign objective, search, Performance Max, installation options right here. Installation options. Install tracking code yourself. So let's do it. Copy it. That Google tag. So it gives you a little bit of instructions. Copy the tag below and in between the heading tags on every page of your website. So now you're probably thinking, okay, I have to do this on every single page of my website. No, Shopify makes that very, very easy for you. So let's go into Shopify. We're gonna go to Online Store. I'm gonna go to Themes. I'm gonna go to Actions. Actions right here, we're gonna edit code. This is gonna be the scariest place for you to live. So only edit code when you feel comfortable or when you've been given permission, like me. Because a lot of damage can be done in here if you do save things where they shouldn't be. So we're gonna go to the theme.liquid. So every theme's gonna be different. Some might be index.liquid depending on what theme you're on, but there's going to be this is the main skeleton of your website. This is where every page is built off of. So anything I edit on theme.liquid is going to affect every single page of my website, every product page, every collection page, every blog page. So if you remember what it just told us to do, it said to place the tracking code between the heading, so the opening heading, and the close heading, so that's what that backslash means, the closing of a heading of our website. So here's the opening heading. You see there's no slash. If you want to find the close heading, you can just Control F it. You can find it down here. So that's line 215. So anywhere between here and here, I just need to paste that code. So I'll do it right here at the top to make it easy. See what I just did there? Right below the head, I literally just copied from Google Ads this tag and I pasted it right here and I'm gonna click save and I'm done. That's it, done. So click done. So now I have tracking code done. So again, what that'll do is now my website, Shopify, is now communicating directly with Google Ads. It's a really important step. You cannot skip that step to make Performance Max work. It has to be done. So now let's set our budget. We're gonna spend $25 a day. So what do you wanna focus on? Conversion value or conversions? Does that sound like the same thing? It is pretty similar, but it's actually not. So conversions or conversion value. Conversion value is the actual dollar value of what you achieved. Conversions is the number of sales that you did. So I'm going to recommend that you use conversion value because that's actual dollars in the door. But two things can happen with that. If you focus on just conversion value, your catalog will have the propensity to focus on your higher dollar items because those are going to get you much more conversion value. If you focus on just conversions, you will then be a little more tilted toward just low dollar items because you're getting more number of conversions versus total conversion value. So there's a pro and a con of each, a Jekyll and a Hyde of each. I would recommend doing conversion value because at the end of the day, more money is going to be most important for you as a new seller. Most of my Performance Max campaigns, I will do conversion value. I recommend you do the same. So then from here, you can put a target return on ad spend. So this is a pretty magical option that you can set right here. So normally when I first start out, I recommend that you start with maybe a 400 to 500% return on ad spend. So that would be for $1 spent, $5 back. And I want you to try over time to get that number higher and higher and higher, but there's gonna be a seesaw effect because you're gonna say right now, okay, Brad, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set this to 10 zillion. I wanna, for every $1 I spend, I want an infinite return. Well, that just doesn't work. What's gonna happen is Google's gonna say, okay, I see the number that you put in here. Say we put 59 million in, and it's gonna say, okay, I'll try. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to reduce your bid. Because in order to get that return, I'm gonna have to reduce your bid. Lower and lower and lower and lower until we get to the point that you're not spending any money at all. So there's this bell curve, and you wanna try to end up at the top of the bell curve where I wanna spend as much of my money as I can, because that's gonna maximize the amount of people that see my ad. But at the same time, I don't want to be too low to where I'm not profitable, right? So we did the margin calculator. So you're gonna use your margin calculator and you need to figure out where, at what return on ad spend you are actually still making money and make sure you are only advertising past that point. So I'm gonna assume most of you are probably safe at the 500% range, but if you need to be higher, then set it higher. Don't be unprofitable, set it higher. And if it doesn't work, if you cannot get clicks at what you set out, don't intentionally be unprofitable. Google or Performance Max just won't be for you if you cannot be profitable here. So let's set it at 500%. Target just USA, target just English, like we mentioned before. So now I'm speeding through this a little bit because you've seen this screen before. So this is called an asset group, but it's the same as an ad group. Like we mentioned before, this is now the second tier of our campaign setup. So I told you that it's going to be the same across all ad platforms. You're going to have 3 tiers. This is no different. So our asset group or ad group. So we're going to say all products. We're going to put all products in this catalog. And I've selected all products. Now you can change your ads. You can change your bidding strategy based on different catalog sets that you can set on the back end, which you can feel free to do. In Shopify, you'll do that with tagging, with custom tagging. But Google does a whole lot of algorithmic checks, I guess you can say, on your account. Algorithmic learning, that's a better way to say it. And you don't need to do as much manual work here. So I would just recommend putting all of your products in one ad group, one asset group, and then not worrying about it. So now we need to create a final URL. So we have our URL in there already. Wants us to add some images in. So we'll add a few images, add a few logos. So we're not going to go through this whole creation process because you can figure this one out on your own. You'll need images, you'll need logos and stuff like that for you to be able to go to the next step though. So just know that you won't be able to push this thing live until you have all of those things. The same as before, create some site links, call outs, call extensions. These are all optional, but you need to be doing them because they're going to maximize your ROI. But I'm speeding through this because you've already seen this before. I'm going to keep clicking next. Brought me all the way back here. All right, now it's going to take me to the summary. Publish campaign. So now we're live. So it really is that easy. So from this point, once this campaign is live, there's going to be some optimization settings that you're going to need to do. You're going to need to watch this. There's not going to be too much you need to do, but the main thing you need to do is get in here every few days and make sure it's spending money. And so if it's not spending money, then your target ROAS is too high. Or you need to be comparing it to your analytics, which we'll go over that later, and make sure that you're actually making money on it. And give this thing roughly a month and give it a fair amount of money. Because if you put $5, it's not going to learn anything. You put $5 a day, it's not going to learn anything. Spend 25 bucks a day, spend $50 a day, and you should expect to get a return from it. It really is a good advertising platform. So I recommend using this, setting up Performance Max. If you're looking for where's the first place I'm going to start spending my money as an e-commerce store, this is it. All right, so I just gave you the simplest view of Google Ads, tracking codes, Performance Max campaigns, all 3 of which you need to be doing to start out with. There's some other channels that we're going to be going over, like affiliates or social media ads that are a little more optional. Google Ads, I would say if you are an e-commerce store, that's not optional. That's something that you need to be doing. I like paid ads because it's one of those things that when you can change a setting and you can see the results of what you did almost immediately. There's very few places that you can advertise, let's say a billboard or TV advertising or something like that, where right when I start it, I can start seeing the results of it. And paid ads is also good because if it's working really well, really any ad type, I can take the profits from what I just made and feed it right back in, and I can spin up the value of my company pretty quickly. So let's say I do have a 60% margin on my products, and I'm getting a 6-to-1 ROI. All of a sudden, I'm getting a pretty good profit. And if I take that profit and I keep feeding it back into the ads and maximize my ad value, I can go from spending $25 a day to $250 a day to $1,000 a day pretty quickly. So if I can maintain that ROI at $1,000 a day, all of a sudden you might be quitting your day job. Now I can't promise that. I don't know what your margin is on your product. I don't know how big your catalog is, but paid advertising is one of those places where people can find their situation change pretty quick, almost overnight, if you hold on to that understanding that I can spend $1 and make $6. If I can do that with $10, I can do that with $100. I can do that with $1,000. I might be able to do that with $100,000 and turn $100,000 into $600,000, right? So you need to be comfortable with scale if you're going to be using paid ads. You cannot be afraid to invest more money if the ROI is there. If it's continuously profitable, you got to invest in it. So that applies to Google Ads, but that also applies to social media advertising, which is where we're going to go next. So stick with me on it and we'll see you there.